What's cracking, people? Angelic Mayhem here, and welcome to State of the Beta. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Deathtrap, which is a game that just came out on Steam a couple days ago. It is in early access at the moment, so everything that you see here, as you can see, it may change sometime in the future. Basically, this is a mix between an ARPG and a tower defense game. I played it for about 15 hours so far, and I gotta tell you, it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty solid title. This is a game that was made by Neocore Games. For those of you who don't know them, it's the Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing 1 and 2 are the games that they are most famous for. And for anybody who's actually played those games, you will recognize immediately most of the game assets and mechanics that I'm about to show you here. So like I said, this is a mix between an ARPG and a tower defense game. You have towers here and here that are in specific strategic locations. You can't just build a tower anywhere. It's got to be, wherever they tell you to. If you middle click on the tower, you get to choose between, which kind of tower you would like to have. In this case, my gun sentries, I've actually, upgraded them over time, so I'm going to pick one of those. The upgrade system, I think, is really good, and here's why. In most tower defense games, when you can upgrade and what you can upgrade is based entirely on the tower and how many times it shoots, let's say like an enemy or whatever. The tower actually gains experience over time. I don't really like that. And in this particular case, I think they did a good job in kind of getting around that. Basically, as part of your ARPG, which is where you actually upgrade your character, you can also upgrade the towers. And you set up the towers in advance, and then you can buy the upgrades that you want for your tower as you're going along, okay? So down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see this is what's known as essence. You rack up essence as you kill people, and then you can use essence. For instance, this tower, if I were to upgrade this in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see this is 13 essence. So that's how we do that. And then as it goes up, obviously, if you wanted to do even more damage, you have to pay more essence. So I'm just going to do those two, and then I'm going to go over here. Each of these towers is 50. There are towers that cost 100, though, so it depends on how much damage you want to do and if you have the essence to cover it. I'm going to do these two. Actually, I'm going to set these guys in motion so that we can kind of get moving along here. Sentry gun, and then right here, all of the paths for this particular level are going to come through here, and they all pass over this grid. So I'm going to change that to be, oh, actually, I'm not going to change it to be anything yet. I don't have the essence for that. All right, go in here. All right, so in the beta, there are two different kinds of characters. One is a melee character, and the other is a ranged sorceress. She throws out fireballs and whatnot. Here we go. We can update this now. Yeah, we're going to go acid. And so now I'm going to let these bad guys just come down here, and then anybody who happens to get past the acid, I'll wipe them out. Although I don't think there's going to be too many people. And these are pressure traps. As they step on them, then the trap activates. And there's a certain amount of time that it takes for the trap to actually, kind of reset itself. Now, there is no speed boost here, which actually is a good thing, because let me tell you, this game is a resource hog, okay? I mean, what you're looking at here is very low graphics. So, I mean, when it's on very high graphics, my graphics card screams so badly, I wouldn't even be able to do this because you wouldn't be able to hear my voice. So I think at this point, you kind of get the idea is that, basically you wander around. And now, so this guy, he is, the melee, so he can walk up and he can just strike somebody. Or he also has a special magic where if I right click, boom, I do a blink. And anybody who is here in between becomes frozen and instantly damaged, okay? So that's kind of my left and my right trigger powers, if you will. Now, the other things that I have are, I have a trap boost, which I can actually, let's say I want to make this trap, just incredible for, let's say, 5 seconds. Like, let's say a boss is walking across it, and I want to make it really good. I can use my A button and then trigger this trap to make it that much better. And then I also have a touch of death, which is, so if there was a boss man coming and, I were to, get him right here, I could do touch of death and then walk up to him and just start pounding away at him. And what it does is it actually makes you, or makes him rather, more susceptible to melee damage. Well, actually, it's to any physical damage. So that also would be to, like, let's say I threw out like a spike trap here. If he stepped on the spike traps, then that would, hurt him as well. So if I can trap the boss man on this grid and then attack him with my mace while doing Touch of Death, I can wipe out any boss man in a couple of seconds. So there's all kinds of strategic stuff like that. The other things that I have armed and ready to go, I got a bunch of health potions. And then, like I have like all of this gear over here. I'm going to step out of here now and just kind of take you back. Yes, I surrender. Which is very sad. Very sad. There is no quick way to get out of this, so. Alright, so then it gives you the readout, how many monsters were killed. And then obviously monsters killed by traps. If you subtract these two, then that's how many that you actually offed. Alright, so continue. And then leave map. So I'm going to take you back to kind of like the main menu area. You can see for the beta, there are 5 different mazes, if you will. And so what do these stars mean? Well, if you played a casual, the most you can get is 1 star. And that just means that you completed it without anybody getting into your portal. All right. And obviously, a tower defense game, you're trying to keep them out of your portal. 2 stars means that you played it on normal. 3 stars means that you played it on casual and beat it with 0 creeps. The expert levels, I got to tell you, they're really challenging. Especially like this one is level 4 and this one's level 5. Really tough. All right. It's going to take you a bunch of playthroughs to get just the perfect combination down. And there's all kinds of like different kinds of puzzles. Like this one's kind of like a corkscrew shape. Or actually, I guess the best way to describe it would be more like a double helix sort of deal. And then this one is just basically a gigantic vaulted chamber, that has like multiple levels and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. I think they actually look pretty good. In terms of the RPG, again, here's your character. You have health and armor and all the usual stuff. Each of these comes in the standard, torchlight, Path of Exile sort of deal, where some of them are gold, some of them are blue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you just, you upgrade and buff yourself as you go along. There are also runes. So if I go over here to my stash, these runes you can swap in and out. So let's say that you have a guy who you want specifically to be fire oriented. You can, swap in a bunch of fire runes versus, if you have somebody who you would prefer, like this guy, I actually want him just to have as many mechanical towers as possible. So I've got the build cost down, like all of these are mechanical related. So I can get my mechanical stuff down as much as possible to do as many of them as I can. Now there's also, like, for instance, there's stuff in here, it's like this isn't named yet because it's the beta, so, they're still working on that. But anyway, the other thing I want to tell you about the stash is that whatever's in your stash can be shared amongst all of your characters. So right now I have 3 different characters. One guy who I just was trying to level up as quickly as possible. I got him to level 11. That's what you're looking at now. So my beast mode guy, I was trying to get him as much experience as possible. I did. I succeeded in that, and he capped out at level 11. Okay, so that's probably 11 or 12 is going to be the best that you can do in the beta. Okay, obviously in the future, there will be more and more and more. But for right now, that's what you should expect. All right, so I think character sheet. Oh, so then I have another guy who was my first melee guy, who I just kind of threw out there. And then I have this chick who is my my range character. Voice acting on her is really tough. I know it's just a placeholder. The melee guy, he doesn't have any voice acting yet, but she is just, it's tough. It's sexist and weird, and, it's a very kind of bad job. So, at least in that respect, I just keep jacking down the voice under the options menu. All right, so let's get out of this. We go into skills, which is for you as a melee character. And then there are traps, which is for obviously, when you're putting stuff into the ground. I maxed out my creature traps, which are, basically if anybody walks near it, a bunch of wolverines pop out and they, chew them to death. I also have some archers in here, my mechanical towers, which do my primary damage. And then this here is my frost pillar. I knew that, having played through already, I knew that I was going to need that for the very last level. So I decided to max it out from the very beginning. And, this is pretty good so far. And basically, its only job is just kind of to hold them in place while my other stuff, my mechanicals and my creatures actually go to town on them. All right. And of course me, you know, like my big thing is, in order to max out my my XP, I jack this up to the roof, which gives me personally, if I get the kill, I get 20% more experience points. And I figured out how to, you know, to do that, to make sure that I got the last kill every time, and I did a really fairly good job. I would say 95% of all the guys who I saw, I personally killed them. So, you know, that was I feel good about that. And then I also have, you know, like these are just the standard melee damage, which corresponds to this, and they work together to get me the most damage as possible. This is the store. Obviously, you can sell. I don't want to sell anything in my stash, but all this stuff is junk, so you could just sell it, and then you get gold. This is a Neocore game, so you're going to have so much gold, you're not even going to know what to do with it. These upgrade over time, so at level 1... at levels 1 through 9, they're going to be just your crap stuff that you get at the very beginning. Once you hit level 10, though, this is going to start becoming some really nice stuff. Oh, I totally want that. Here, wait. I just bought that. So, anyway, you know, it will become very nice stuff. And then down here is where you can buy, you know, any more of your healing potions if you need them, which you won't, because you're just going to have a crap ton of them just from regular play. And that's it. The crafting system isn't available yet. I'm thinking about doing a separate video when it comes online, though, because I have seen what you pick up in terms of crafting, and I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a key feature in this game. So that should be pretty sweet. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I'll just pull up the options menu real quick. I would highly recommend that you check off enemy HP bars. That is not a default. So, you know, but it really makes the game a lot easier, especially if you're trying to max out your HP. You want to know when the guys are just about to die, and then you run in real quick and snap them. Audio, I jacked it all down. The music, there's only one song at the moment, and it's nice, but, you know, it's one song, so after a while it gets to you. And then, like I said, the other sound effects were, I mean, the battle sounds are nice, don't get me wrong. It sounds really good, but her voice, I don't know, it bothered me, so I just jacked it all down. Video. This is on very low. Again, the graphics are not optimized, okay? When it's on very high, my graphics card goes nuts. And, you know, so I'm just throwing that out there. If you have an older system or a graphics card that's, you know, then you might have some issues. You're going to be playing on very low. So that just, you know, kind of throwing that out there. There is no 1280 by 720, so that's why you see the black borders top and bottom. And then controls, I set my controls up for the same way that I have them in Dota. And consequently, also the same way that I have them in Path of Exile. So, you know, but, you know, again, it's all kind of stuff that you kind of have to, you know, you play through once and you're like, I think I can do it better, and then you tweak all this stuff. So there you go. That is a look at Deathtrap. I hope it helped you decide whether you want to pick it up in early access, wait for it to come out when it is official, or perhaps to, you know, pass this one by. But I gotta tell you, I really liked it. I think it's very creative. There are a lot of very challenging mazes in at least what I saw. I mean, you know, there's only 5 of them so far, but I think it's looking good. So I'm really looking forward to this. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click the like button, share it with your friends, or subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this in the future. I'm Angelic Mayhem, and I'll see you next time.